All right, and we're back. Welcome back, people. This is take two. We had some audio issues. Not sure what was happening there. Why do? So for the time being, we're just gonna keep it on audio. If you're on YouTube trying to watch, sorry about that. Um, this has to do a lot with I have an old ass computer. I have to upgrade pretty soon, but for the time being, we're still recording, so never fear. And for anyone on the YouTube, I will be uploading the YouTube portion on YouTube, audio portion. But, anyways, guys, welcome back to the experience. It is Wednesday, um, August the 14th, 2024. It's 9:14 p.m. Central Time. And we're back, people. We are back for a second time. My audio sounded very chippy. But it's me, people. It's me. It's Drew. And with me, as always,
Justin from Spinebuster Tees and spinebustertees.com.
all right, people. And we're here to talk about some wrestling. We had a nice little show going. So take two. So let's start with SmackDown. I took some notes for SmackDown. So recently it was August the 9th of 2024. And let me try and go back to what we were talking about recently. How are you, Justin?
I'm good. I've been working a lot. But like I said, I'm good. I got a lot of stuff coming into the shop over the next few days. So, um, yeah. So yeah, I'm great. I can't be any happier right now. You know what I mean? Summer's ended too. So people are like going back to school, like kids and stuff. So, last year was very interesting for me, I will say. So this year, I think I'll be better prepared on what's to come before the holidays and whatnot. But I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I mentioned before I was, pretty stressed, for personal reasons. But today I kind of like de-stressed myself, if that makes sense. I visited a very dear friend in the hospital. She's doing fine. That's kind of where all that stress was coming from. But
Yeah.
I'm better now. I don't have too much to worry about, except for YouTube. But we'll get to that next week. But other than that, I'm doing pretty good. I'm pretty happy. I'm happy that the show's going. I'm happy that we got all the kinks worked out. So. But yeah, man. Let's start it off with SmackDown, which I got my notes. It was this past Friday in Tulsa, Oklahoma, August the 9th. The show opens with Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes comes out. He's the WWE Undisputed Champion. I don't know why they just call him the WWE Champion, which I'm pretty sure they're going to do that pretty soon. Talks about what's next for him and his championship. Thinks about who he would like to defend his title against at Bash at Berlin. Before he gives out an answer, Solo and the Bloodline come out. Solo says, I don't care what you want to talk about. What I do want to talk about is SummerSlam demands a rematch. Cody tells Solo he could not get the job done. He got Jacob Fatu hurt, sent Roman Reigns on a warpath, says he's delusional if he thinks he deserves a rematch. Kevin Owens comes out to assist Cody with the bloodline. After they clear the ring, Cody cuts the music and tells Kevin Owens he wants to talk to him about something. Chooses Kevin as his opponent. Kevin says no because he said title matches need to be earned. Cody professes he does this with all the sacrifices that he's made, and anytime Cody needed help, Owens was right there, and he's sure Nick Aldis will see what he sees. And then later in the night, Nick Aldis and Cody and Kevin are in his office. KO still claims he doesn't deserve a title match. Aldis says he's ready to offer it to Roman, which angers KO. KO says how many guys were never champion because of Roman's 4-year long title reign. He says you can go into the locker room and find more deserving wrestlers. Aldis says he doesn't need to. He's got one standing right here, and makes the title match official at Berlin. KO tells Cody he'll see him in Berlin. So kind of a weird thing. Kind of like the first time you ever had a champion offer a title match to somebody, and then the guy is like, "No, I don't think I deserve it." And then later on, he's like, "Yeah, I don't think I'll take it." So it was,
Well,
it
I
was
think
kind
it
of
was more because of the whole, you know, Owens is still, desensitized with the Roman Reigns and like he doesn't hates him still, right? He doesn't care if if he's a good guy now, like he still has legitimate beef. And he was like, well, what does how Roman Reigns deserves a shot. You know what I mean? There's other guys in the back who deserve a shot too as well. So Kevin Owens was trying to put over the back, and Nick Aldis was like, you know what? No, I'll just give you the title instead. So a title match instead. So I thought it was fine for what it was.
It's just still kind of funny, where like he's like, I'll just give it to Roman Reigns. What? No. Yeah, but yeah, I see what you're going. Like I'm fine with it. I like Kevin Owens. I like the idea of a Kevin Owens and Cody match at Berlin.
Yeah,
So
should be good.
yeah, it should be a good match. That you kind of I think you pointed out a while ago. What's Cody's title reign gonna be, and a lot of it just seems like Cody wanting good matches, which I'm fine with.
Yeah, a lot of people are down on Cody's title run. I've been seeing the narrative that Cody's title run has been a failure. It's been boring, but I don't think you can call someone like the best merchandise seller and
No.
like a guy that's having the Fanatics, signing in New York City, the first one to sell out, including all athletes, a failure. Now, maybe on TV, okay, as far as his feuds have been less than, but I think it's far from being a failure. Underwhelming, you can say underwhelming, but I don't
Yeah,
think it's a failure.
I think the chase was more exciting.
Well,
Where
that's always going to be that. No one's going to have it like when you
right,
play. There's very few exceptions where, like for example, Roman Reigns, where the title where the championship means more than. So it's gonna be very, 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 very. It's gonna be very, very few and far between, especially for a babyface. Like, of course, the chase is gonna be better than the title reign in most cases.
right, especially for Cody, that 2 year long chase of finish the story, and he did, and now that he's a champion, it's like, yeah, I mean, to your point, it has been kind of lackluster in a sense where like you know as far as like who he's been facing, like not to say the matches have been bad, but
Oh, of
I
course.
think
Yeah,
no, no,
fast match with AJ. Of
yeah,
course.
the matches have been very good, but like when you look at Cody, it's like he needs heels. And
There's no heels on SmackDown.
I mean, the only heel match that he got was out of Logan, and that worked. But it's
Well,
like,
AJ too.
yeah, in a vacuum, that was a really good match. But like as far as like a guy like Logan, he needs like those sneaky, chicken shit heels to work with, where he's working from
AJ faked his
underneath.
retirement though.
What was that?
AJ faked his retirement.
Yeah, but like for a guy like Logan, like AJ's a heel, but no one's gonna boo AJ. Logan's a true heel. People are gonna boo the shit out of Logan
Well, I
regardless.
mean, who's a true heel nowadays though? Like, like Gunther's a heel, but people still cheer him. You know what I mean? Like Logan's a very few and far between. But
Dom's another true heel.
yeah. But I mean, Dom's on Raw though, so like
Right.
it's not really mattering to the point of here. But there's more heels that people actually cheer for than they boo in most cases.
Right, like Gunther gets cheered, but Gunther's all like, I don't care if you cheer me. I don't want to be cheered. But did you happen to see Dom on Logan Paul's podcast?
Yeah, it was fantastic, man. It was really good. I
I
saw I saw that, and I saw Chad Gable and Chris Van Vliet. They both released like around the same time. I watched them both.
Dom's was funny because I remember he was like, we were just in Japan. He's like, have you ever been to Japan before? And he's like, quietly talking about the whole bit where like Logan Paul went to the Suicide Forest, and
Yeah.
um, I don't know. Dom's funny. Dom's a funny fucker. Like
Yeah.
he gets it.
Logan was really like it seemed like he really regrets that.
Oh yeah, he does. Um, but yeah, I just thought that was funny as shit. I haven't seen the Chad Gable one yet, but
The Chad
I'm
Gable was pretty good. That was pretty good too. I mean, probably not as good. I mean, it's not as good as the Dom and Logan one, but it's really good. Really good.
so I think I'm gonna watch the Chad Gable one when I'm at the gym. I usually have like certain videos on my watch list for when I'm working out, so I'm probably gonna watch the Chad Gable one. But rest of SmackDown, you had tag team championship number one contender qualifier matches. You had A Town Down Under versus the Street Profits. Who won that match? Street Profits won it, I
Yep.
believe. Yeah, they won it. I put on my notes. Street Profits are still popular, but what's missing? What do you think is missing with the Street Profits?
Nothing.
Okay, all right.
Nothing. What do you think's missing?
This is just my opinion. You might disagree with me. I think Montez just needs to get away from the group. I think Montez is a solo star. Like
Not
he's
yet.
yeah, but okay. Here's the thing.
What do you do with him? Where do you see him fitting as a single star at this time?
I think Montez he's just so athletic and so I don't want to say over because I think over gets abused too much, but he's somebody that is just I don't want to say him personally, but I think he's somebody that the fans want to see like break away and be his own guy. I forget what
Yep.
I forget what his partner's name is. Montez Ford and what's the other guy's name?
Kendall Dawkins.
Dawkins. Like Dawkins is somebody that is very underrated. Like he's somebody that you know people looked at as the Marty Jannetty, which it's funny how we say Marty Jannetty and Marty Jannetty was actually very good.
Oh yeah, he was great. Yeah.
And
Just
Dawkins.
just in comparison, like when people use Genetti, I just think about it as not like someone sucking, but just like someone's like career is like, someone's career goes one way and that person's career goes the other way. But uh, I disagree with that only because that we need tag teams.
Yeah.
Need tag teams. If you break up another tag team, then we gotta fill the void of another tag team to be built. That's number one. Also, number two, obviously Montez would be the star, right, of
Yeah.
the singles group. Where does that leave Dawkins? We're paying attention to Montez, but what about Dawkins? What does he do? Like, you know,
Yeah. So,
not I'm
but
asking.
no, I mean, I'm that's kind of my answer. I'm like, yeah, but it's I don't know. Like, I think when you look at it from the outside looking in, it's just like Tez is obviously the star, but maybe Dawkins could be the star.
It's a
You know?
possibility. I mean, maybe they could both be stars, but at the same time, I don't think it's a benefit right now to break up the Street Profits.
No, and they're kind of like in a weird position in the past year and a half, where like they were the Street Profits and they were getting reactions and getting over. They still are. And then they put him with Bobby Lashley and they tried to make him heels, but that wasn't really working.
Right. Yeah.
And then Bobby Lashley, left and kind of did his own thing. And now the Street Profits are kind of getting back to like, hey, we're still the Street Profits. We're still doing the cup thing. We're still over. So, anyways, where are we at next? Jade Cargill versus Alba Fire. Um, again, another kind of weird position for Jade Cargill where they're still treating her like she's something, and then they put her with Bianca and put the tag team titles on her, and then they gave them to Alba Fire and Isla Dawn,
Yep.
and then I mean they kind of gave it to them for a moment, and I'm happy for them. I like Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. I like Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair, even though we both kind of agreed that Bianca needs to be put as like the face of the women's division. Like she's too big a star to just be in a tag team.
I
Uh,
mean, she's still the face. Like, she's still like one of the faces of the women's division. But I think that I mean, the hill to hill run is gonna be coming sooner rather than later for her. So that should give her a new wrinkle. But you also got to think about it as well. Is like Bianca is kind of like one of the female John Cena's, but I think WWE will be taking a risk. I think they want to probably put Jade in that position.
yeah,
But does Jade have that in ring work to back up those claims, right?
no,
Um, I don't see it yet for Jade. As far as in ring work, is the same Jade from AEW. Nothing wrong with that, but and she has gone incrementally a little bit better, but still, it's Jade from AEW. And
yeah,
again, like, do you trust Jade to go out there and have a 20-minute singles match with someone like Bianca at a WrestleMania, or a 15-minute match against a Jade at a I'm sorry, against say Bianca at a WrestleMania? I mean, it's probably gonna happen, but I don't know if I trust that as of yet. So, um, I'll be very weary of turning Bianca heel because that's gonna be a long term thing, and I'm not too sure how I feel about that.
Right. Like I'm very much in the camp of I think I really do. I would really want Bianca to be a heel because Bianca is, I love her. She's been kind of stagnant as far as like a character perspective.
Yeah.
I think that's a way to kind of freshen her up a little bit, but I do think that would be a big risk because she is the face of the women's division. She's also one of the faces of the WWE. If you're talking about pillar,
She's the one that does all the
yeah,
like all the
make
marketing and like the public, appearances,
make a
things of that
wish.
nature. Yeah, that too. Like that's a, you know what I mean? Like Rhea. I mean, Rhea could be that too as well, but Rhea's more edgy, right?
Yeah.
Um, Bianca is someone like, I'm not saying that Rhea's not for families. I'm definitely not saying that,
Oh no.
but Rhea's more edgy, right? Compared to squeaky clean Bianca Belair. Um, Obviously you got Jade being, motion in that position as well. But again, if you end up turning Bianca heel, which I'll be fine, it's gonna be great for TV. But what's the ramifications afterwards? What's the business aspect with this? The Make a Wishes, the public appearances. People probably gonna be asking for Bianca Belair to come to, to come to their restaurants or come to their, sports game, and and be so she can't be heel doing that. Like in
I
my
mean,
opinion.
let's be real. They're still gonna do it maybe a little bit after they do it because Bailey, Bailey was the squeaky clean baby face, and then she became a heel. Even afterwards, like she would still do what make a wish visits. I know CM
Yeah,
Punk.
but okay. So the difference between that is that it's not being broadcast on WWE social medias.
Yeah,
Uh, that's the main thing, right? Bianca's still going to be able to do that, but it's all about perception and appearance and social media engagement, things of that nature. But we could talk about this all day, though. So
all
we'll
right.
move on.
Just to kind of end it. It's like with CM Punk when Punk said when he went heel, it affected his money. Because he was selling a lot of merch and doing make a wish visits as a face, and then when he became a heel, that kind of you know it did the opposite. But anyways, let's move on. Where was I at? L.A. Knight. L.A. Knight. Or let me go back to the match real quick. Blair Davenport. I guess she's in a faction with Alba Fire and Ellen, which I like. Blair, I like. Blair is somebody I think needs to be in a faction like this because I think it helps maybe kind of get her over into the next plateau.
Formerly Miss Will Ospreay.
What was that?
I said formerly Miss Will Ospreay.
Formerly Miss Will Ospreay. And then Naomi came out to kind of level the playing field, so we got that to go on. So LA Knight comes out as the new United States champion. LA Knight with a title just feels right. I think he's desperately needed a title. Maybe they should have done this a lot sooner, in my opinion, but it's good that he's champion.
Let me
Comes
ask
out.
a quick question. He has a title, right?
Mhm.
What do you think his popularity is more since he has the title now?
I think it adds to it because for a
No,
while.
do you think he's more popular now since or before he had a title?
I'm gonna give a
Because
hot.
I'll be honest, I don't think it makes a difference. He's super popular, but I don't think him getting a title makes him more popular. I think him having the title is just justification of his work.
I think it was needed because last year he was like super over, and then the whole program with Roman I think was rushed because nobody in their right mind thought LA Knight was gonna win.
I
And
think it was more to do with the program rather than him losing. But yeah, go ahead.
right, and he's still over. He still sells merch. People still say yeah, but kind of compared to last year, I'm not saying there was like a drastic drop in popularity, but there's still maybe a little bit of a drop. But I do think, like you just said, yeah, he's still over. Yeah. But I think he does need a title. He needed a title because it's just like, okay, what are we doing here? Like he needs something. He needs a title. And I think it definitely does add to it. But I'm glad he's a champion. Maybe they should have done it sooner rather than later. But that's just my opinion. But Comes out with slightly new music. Can't really hear it too much. Lou Ferrigno, the Hulk, was sitting front row for Tulsa.
I didn't even
Opens.
know. I didn't even pay attention to that.
Yeah, he was there. Knight comes out, says, "Let me talk to you." Talks about beating Logan Paul in his hometown of Cleveland. Fans chant, "You deserve it." Says, "Call me what you want, but you will call me champion, and I have arrived." Says with Logan Paul and every other challenger, "I hit it and quit it." Which my sister-in-law, she's a big LA Knight fan, and the whole time he's saying "I hit it and quit it," she's like, "Stop saying that." Santos Escobar comes out, fans boo him. Then they talk back and forth, blah blah blah. The next match is Escobar and Andrade to determine the number one contender for the United States champion. In between, they show a Giovanni Vinci vignette. So
Yes.
which I'm happy for because I like Vinci. They're kind of going back to his NXT gimmick of him being, I guess, this like sophisticated, male
He's
model.
a rich Italian playboy.
I like it.
You know what? I'm gonna say this. I
Hmm.
think that Vinci. This is too early to say, but I think they're gonna score something big with Vinci, and I think that he's probably gonna be a mid card champion sometime in 2025. That's number one. But also number two, if they do this right, he may be the Shawn Michaels to uh Eichner's Marty Jannetty. Oh no, he is Fabian Eichner. What the fuck am I talking about? To Ludwig Kaiser.
I don't know.
Um,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying that Ludwig is like gonna be like, oh, trash or anything like that. But like, if they do this right, because you gotta look at it, man. Vinci is a good looking dude, man. Good looking dude. They're gonna have him in this rich playboy gimmick. Usually those get over pretty well, right? And that a lot of times they end up winning championships. Like if you look at the course of wrestling history, super talented in the ring. Um, he doesn't have like LA Knight charisma, but like his, how should I say, his confidence in this particular gimmick, at least from the vignettes, I'm like, oh man, this guy got some charisma on this guy. I think they're gonna hit a home run with this gimmick. If the fans are smart enough to it, because I don't know if the fans are gonna take to it, but right now I'm game. I'm game with this.
I like it. I like unique gimmicks, and again the Triple H era of things of like, hey, let's try to give, like we have this person, let's see what they can do. So obviously they didn't forget about Vinci. Um, they were kind of doing that with Kaiser, where he's like this sophisticated European, you know,
Yeah, they had the one
good-looking guy.
gimmick with Swan Lake, and I don't yeah, like and pretty much, and pretty he was still with Imperium at that time. Imperium was still like a threesome. So, um, we'll see what happens with him. But I think both guys have tremendous upside though.
Yeah, I like both of them. Let's see what they can do. But going back to the match, Escobar and Andrade, very good match. Very, very good match. Not trying to sound surprised by that because both guys are very good. Um, Andrade, they're giving him something because for a while when he came back, he was kind of, I don't want to say going through the motions, but it's just like there was so much happening on the show that it was just like, all right, where does he fit in? So I'm glad they found something for Andrade to do and, showcasing that the guy can obviously work and put on good matches. Um, Escobar is another guy where he's very talented and he's very charismatic. But it's just what do you do with him? But yeah, had these two obviously have very good chemistry. These two were trading, trading blows back and forth. Andrade had a nice sunset power bomb. Put in my notes. There was a point where Escobar hit a poison rana on Andrade, and the fans chanted, "You still suck." Um,
That means they're acknowledging that was a good move.
oh yeah. During which Mello interfered, so Mella and not Mella, Mello, not Carmella, but Carmelo Hayes came out because him and Andrade are still having their little beef going on. Interferes and Escobar got the win, so Escobar will be LA Knight's first opponent for the United States Championship. How do you feel about Escobar being LA Knight's first opponent?
Good. Well, he deserved. Be a good showcase for him. He's not gonna win, but it'd be a great showcase for him.
Nice. Yeah, it should be a good match. LA Knight, I think, with this title reign, he needs good matches. You know, he also needs, I guess it's too much to say memorable. Maybe memorable is asking for too much, but yeah, we'll see. Tag title qualifier, yeah, DIY versus Pretty Deadly. Good to see Pretty Deadly back. For a while they were kind of taken out of the equation, but now they're back. They did a funny backstage segment with Tiffany Stratton, where Tiffany Stratton was setting up Nia Jax's championship coronation for next week, and then Pretty Deadly's trying to, I guess, add ideas and like, what about Pretty Deadly the musical? And then Tiffany just kind of eye rolls them and just leaves, and you just see them dancing in the back. But I put fun match in my notes, but DIY wins, which you kind of expected. So next week it's going to be DIY versus the Street Profits to determine who will be the number one contender for the Bloodline's tag titles. So we'll see how that works out. And then to end the night, you had Solo and the Bloodline come out to confront Roman. Solo tells Roman, if you want the what did he call him? Ulefante? Is that what they were called?
Call what?
The things he wears, the little
The
gimmicks he wears.
Uafala.
Ulafala, there you go. Ulafala. Says if you want the Ulafala back, you can come back and get it. And then Roman comes out, proceeds to take out Tonga, or both Tongans actually. Him and Solo end up fighting, but the Tongans come back in and take out Roman for the time being, and then Roman just proceeds to spear both Tongans. And then the show ends with Solo holding up the I keep saying it wrong. Ulafanta?
Ulafala.
Ulafala. Ulafala. Solo has the Ulafala, and that's how the show ends. What'd you think? What'd you think about all that?
By the book, by the numbers. Gotta see where this goes.
All right. So that was SmackDown, people. Decent show. Monday Night Raw was in Austin, Texas. It was in our neck of the woods. August the 12th, 2024. The show opens with Rhea Bloody Ripley, as she likes to be referred to as, addresses what happened at SummerSlam, felt embarrassment, heartbreak, but currently is pissed off. Pissed the hell off, as she said. Tells Dom he stabbed her in the back and was not deep enough. Says he's probably heard that before. Ooh. Tells Liv and Dom it's time to remind you just who the hell I am, which is Rhea Bloody Ripley. Cut to Dom and Liv in the skybox. Dom speaks, but gets reined in with booze as usual. It's funny how Dom is probably the first guy to become a heel twice, where he was already a heel before and then he turned heel while he was heel. Thought that was kind of funny. Dom says, you want to know why I left you for Liv? I am a man and deserve to be treated as such. Liv treats me like a man. She gives me chicken tendies whenever I want. She lets me play video games whenever I want. It was always embarrassing you know how it was embarrassing to call you mommy? Now I have a girl that calls me daddy. She did something you could never do, helping me beat my deadbeat dad. Rhea says she's proud of Dom, of the man he's become. He's finally a man, but it's the last decision he'll ever make. Liv says she took Rhea's Judgment Day, her title, and now Dom is mine. Rhea says Liv will have to kill her to stop her. Rhea says we know where you are. Dom, that's where Damien appears behind both of them, which I was kind of a funny shot. And grabs Dom, and they all fight in the stands. There was actually funny fan footage of Rhea just chasing Liv in the back where concessions and merch are. And then Carlito comes out, and that's where you begin Carlito and Damien. Great opening segment. Crowd was pretty hot for it. What'd you think about the segment?
Advancement by the numbers. Pretty good. It was a hot opener.
Nice. Then you had Damian Priest and Carlito. Just it was kind of like last week with Damian and JD. It was you're basically gonna see Damien and Damien fight everybody in the Judgment Day until you get to Dom, which they announced at the Berlin show. It's gonna be Liv and Dom versus Damien and Rhea in a mixed tag team match. But I mean, this was a match. Carlito can obviously still work, and they wanted to make Carlito look as competitive as he could be. But in the end, Damien wins. Judgment Day comes out, Rhea comes out, kicks Carlito in the balls, which was kind of funny. JD saves Finn from an attack. Dom tries to attack Damien while Damien and Rhea are embracing. Damien catches Dom in midair with a choke slam. But as Rhea's going for Riptide, you see Liv grab Dom, and that's it.
Yep.
That's all she wrote, as they would
All
say.
she wrote.
You had a Wyatt Six segment, which is Bo Dallas pretty much saying that there's still work to be done. Very, very quick segment, nothing too memorable. Odyssey Jones makes his Raw debut versus I forgot the name of the guy. Was it Mark Winey? I think is his name.
I believe so.
Um,
It doesn't really matter.
which I mean, the story behind this is Xavier is trying to pretend that he's as happy as he can be for Odyssey, but he's you can tell that Xavier's gonna go to the dark side essentially. But Odyssey won with a spinning sidewalk slam, which I thought was pretty cool. I know wasn't that Big Boss Man's move?
Boss Man Slam,
Yeah, which I like that. I like that move for Odyssey.
or the Black Hole from Abyss.
The Black Hole from Abyss. There you go. I like that move. I like that move for Odyssey. Odyssey looked good out there. Uh, the way he moves around the ring, I like to see more of that. Cross comes out, says Kofi is using Jones to replace Big E. Tells Xavier to see the truth, that he's being replaced. And a 6-man tag is made for next week. And then Xavier, it was either Xavier or Kofi that referred to the final testament as the final testicle, which I was kind of funny. So you think next week?
Speaking of, what do you think about the this is a little bit off topic, but I'm just remembering right now. What do you think about the potential rumor of Judgment Day being called Street Trash?
I don't like that. I don't like that name. Like I agree with Judgment Day maybe needing to get away from Judgment Day and be something different. The Street Trash, no, that's bad. Not no bueno in my opinion.
Yeah.
But we got that announced. Do you think next week is when Xavier maybe goes heel or just leaves Judgment Day, or not Judgment Day, but New Day in general?
I have no idea. We'll see.
Let me ask you. Do you think it's not necessarily going to be Xavier going heel, but it's just going to be Xavier just kind of going his own way and being pissed off at Kofi?
When they make him a heel?
You see, I don't know about Xavier being a heel because I can't see Xavier being a heel.
So let me ask this. So if Xavier leaves, which is a dumb idea, he'll be a heel. Who benefits from it? Nobody. They need to keep them together. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that he's probably going to end up leaving. But they need to really think about what they're doing, because again, we need tag teams on both brands.
Yeah.
I don't think breaking up New Day. I think Odyssey Jones being part of the New Day as a replacement for Biggie, I think it's a very natural thing. I just don't see Xavier being anything, by himself on the main. Hopefully he proves me wrong, but as a single star, he has a lot of competition on Raw. He has a ton of competition on Raw.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, Gunther, Braun Breaker. Like I don't know. I don't see Xavier Woods fitting in within that the echelon, right? So they need to. If he does turn, he needs to maybe get a new group or something. But who that be? I can't think about that on top of my head. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's not a good idea if he needs to stay with his guys. It's probably not going to happen, as I mentioned, but he needs to stay with his guys.
Do you think that coincides with Big E maybe coming out to kind of mend fences?
I could see that. Yeah, possibly. Possibly. Yeah. 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 Um, I don't think that would like make them more over in the new group.
Right.
Or maybe it's like a biggie blessing to Odyssey Jones, but I think Odyssey Jones already getting a big enough reaction already. Just his second weekend. I think people can start seeing his personality, and maybe he'll just um, naturally develop into that. But who knows? Maybe Big E does come out for a blessing. I don't know.
Right. Moving on, we have the Alpha Academy versus American Made, not American Males. American Made in a Texas Tornado tag match. Earlier in the night, Ivy Nile and Maxine were talking. Maxine's trying to help Ivy see the light. Ivy's like, these are my brothers. I always stick by my brothers. And Ivy, asking, Maxine, just hey, why don't you join us? And Maxine's like, these are my brothers. I gotta help them out. And Ivy goes, I thought you'd say that. So it foreshadows the rest of the night. So this is a fun match. Chad Gable was not here tonight. He was in Paris for the Olympics, saying that his business with the White Six is still not done. But this was a fun match. I mean, as you can imagine, Julius being a freak as usual, physical freak as usual. Otis still love her. People still loving Otis. During the match, Ivy
People
Nile
not
attacked.
like Otis? I haven't heard that concept.
No, I like Otis. I never said I didn't like Otis.
Oh, I didn't say you said that, but I'm saying do people don't haven't been cheering for Otis lately?
No, I said Otis is over. Like I wasn't trying to make it sound like that. I
Oh
was
no,
try-
well, yeah, okay.
no, Otis is still over. I mean, there was. I mean, I guess there was that while where they tried to make Otis a heel and have him shave off his beard and there.
Well,
I
I mean,
still
that was like almost 5 years ago at this point, getting close to that, I think, right? No, probably hasn't been that long. Probably a couple years ago.
there was a funny meme I saw where like you've seen Pee Wee's Big Adventure, right?
Oh, of course.
There was a meme where somebody showed Otis with his shaven face, and the caption was, "Give me back my bike, Francis."
That's funny.
So, but yeah, Otis works better as a face. He's over as a face. I love Otis. But yeah, this is a fun match. During like I mentioned during the match, Ivy attacked Maxine, so Ivy's still sticking by her friends, which makes sense. And American Made won the match naturally, as they should. So Ivy is a heel, but it makes sense why she's a heel because she's sticking by her friends. So she joins American Made. But this is a fun match. What'd you think about the match and also the heel turn?
Good. I don't got like anything like super duper to say about it, but I thought it was good.
How do you feel about the name American Made?
I mean, I'm content with it. Like, I don't. It's good. Like, it's fine. I mean, yeah. Well, how you feel about it?
Um,
I mean, you
I don't know.
brought it up for a reason, so I know you have something against it, or maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe I need time with it. I got what's the name that fucking that Sonya has for her group, the coalition thing, whatever it's called.
Jesus! I saw it. I saw it earlier, and I forgot exactly what it was. I was like, oh, that's different.
That's a choice. But I mean, American Made. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. Maybe I just need more time with it. I'll just leave it at that. It's kind of like with Judgment Day, where we're like, we're the Judgment Day. It's like I need more time with this,
Yeah.
and I got used to it. So,
But I mean, Ivy Nile turning heel. I mean, it's Diamond Mine. It's pretty much Diamond Mine again. You know what I mean? So I'm
I mean,
cool.
what? I mean, I don't know. Maybe you should just call it Diamond Mine again, where Chad's the new leader. But oh,
Nah.
uh,
That's the NXT thing. Got to let go of the past. I like American Made.
okay, all right. Do you think they should bring back the theme, American Made?
That no.
She's got the red, white, and blue raining through his veins. Dun,
No.
dun, 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 dun. That was a bad theme.
No, I was
Um,
fine. I was actually fine with it. Uh, it's the red, white, blue, and he doesn't even know what to do.
remember Abyss had that in TNA. That was funny.
Yeah, man. Jimmy Hart, man. Like,
Hey,
Jimmy Hart knows how to make a fucking theme song, man.
that don't work for me, brother. Anywho, speaking of damage control and Zoe, damage control versus damage control, take two, versus Shayna and Zoe, the name of their group, which if anyone in the chat
I'll
can,
find it. I'll find it. Continue.
Justin will find it. This is a match. Isla Dawn causes a DQ after Zoe Stark kicked Alba in the face. So this is supposed to be a number one contender match for the women's tag team titles. Now nobody is a number one contender, which will more than likely be a 6-woman tag for the women's tag team title. So
Possibly where it's gonna go. Yeah.
yeah, more than likely at the Berlin show, which so far they have about I think 3 matches announced. Randy Orton comes out, which funny backstage segment where R-Truth sees Miz a little downtrodden, and he tells him, "Don't worry, man. I talked to Adam Pearce. I got you a match with Braun Breaker. Look at the graphic." And then Miz sees, "That's not Braun Breaker. That's Bronson Reed." And then Randy Orton comes out to try and pump up Miz, saying, "You're the former WWE champion. You main evented WrestleMania. You beat John Cena. You can beat him." And he's trying to get him hyped up. And then Miz leaves, and then R-Truth turns to Orton and goes, "You really think you can beat him?" And Randy just goes, "Eh," and then walks off. So Orton comes out. Austin loves Randy Orton. I mean, everybody loves Randy Orton at this point. But
yeah, like who doesn't love Randy Orton?
but comes out, says 20 years ago on this month, he won the World Heavyweight Championship against who? Redacted. Then Gunther comes out. Gunther calls him the GOAT. Says he should be the greatest of all time, but says he has wasted his potential. Says this is the era of the Ring General. In his era, Randy won't play a role anymore. I can't read my own handwriting, apparently. Randy says that he's made mistakes, but he's owned up to them.
For the record, the group is Pure Fusion Collective (PFC).
That sounds like a bad drink, like a bad energy drink.
It sounds like a bad like a very posh clothing store or something like.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
Pure Fusion Collective. I don't know if I like that. I think American Made is a lot better than that. I can tell you that.
Here's American made. Randy reminds Gunther that he is Randy Orton. Says he's always marched to the beat of his own drum. Mentions his wife and kids. Says his wife is a smoke show, which he is. He's soon to be a 14-time champion, and he's done pretty good for himself. And then does a USA thing, and the crowd starts chanting USA, USA. So, Gunther calls Orton predictable. He'll give him the beating of a lifetime because of that. He will never be champion again when it's important. He's a screw-up. He calls his grandfather a screw-up and his father a screw-up. And so that pisses off Orton. Drew McIntyre comes out. Let me kind of backtrack with Drew McIntyre. Earlier in the night, Drew McIntyre talks to Adam Pearce, says, "Why is Orton a champion? Or why is Orton getting a title shot? He's from SmackDown, blah, blah, blah." And that's why Drew McIntyre comes out to kind of level the playing field. Drew McIntyre comes out. Orton then RKO's Gunther. Punk comes out and attacks Drew, takes off Drew's belt and starts whipping Drew with it, which, to kind of fast forward to a backstage segment, Punk still has Drew's belt and has an idea on what their next match could be, which is more than likely a strap match, which more than likely might happen at the Berlin pay-per-view. You never know. But overall, what'd you think about the segment, Punk, everything else?
Good, very good. Probably, like I said, probably get the strap match at the pay-per-view. That was rumors coming out of like Fightful Select and Wrestling Observer newsletter, and so it's a possibility. But yeah, fine segment.
Yeah, I liked it. Punk saying that he lied about his flight being delayed just so he can show up on time and surprise Drew. So good segment. Randy Randy at this point in his career is just having fun because you're putting him in the ring against guys that can actually work, and then he can actually get something out of. Gunther. Gunther's very underrated on the mic.
Yeah.
He's good at talking shit. Telling Randy that he's a screw up and that your grandfather was a screw up and your father was an all time screw up. So like he's good at that, like kind of like deadpan, you know, shit talking. So it works for him. Next, he had Miz versus Bronson Reed. Reed wins with a tsunami. Tries to go for 6 tsunamis on Miz, and then Truth gets in the ring to stop him, and then he proceeds to do 6 tsunamis on Truth. And all the agents in the back trying to stop Reed.
Well, the who?
All the agents in the back.
Okay.
What'd you hear?
Go ahead, continue.
No. What'd you hear? Tell me. I
I
want to
think
know.
they say all the Asians.
All the Asians in the back trying to stop Reed, and the agents. No. The agents, the producers, Adam Pearce, who at this point is like, what are you even here for? Like you can't run the show. Apparently, you can't stop anybody. You have all this chaos going on, but
Racially motivated too, man. Jesus.
ra- racially motivated. Why?
Well, I mean, fucking Bronson Reed just gave our truth all those splashes.
Yeah, last week he attacked a half Albanian, half Hispanic man and Colby. So this week he attacks our truth, which hey, I mean that was the best way to get a heel heat is to attack the beloved our truth.
Yep.
So Bronson's getting there. Bronson. I like that he's getting over. I like that he's getting that heel heat. Even though it's funny that when he was leaving, you heard the crowd chanting one more time, one more time. So
Yep.
the crowd's weird. But next is he had the main event, which was Braun Breaker versus Sami Zayn. 2 out of 3 falls match for the Intercontinental title. This is a good match. This is a really good match, really good main event. That was interesting. That was 2 out of 3 falls. I guess Braun is not even 30 yet. I think he's not even 25 yet.
Braun Breaker?
Yeah, Braun Breaker. I think he's like mid
I
20s.
believe he is close to 27, actually. Yeah, he's gonna be 27 in a couple months.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, he's still got a little bit green. He's still got a little bit of green in him, but
Yeah.
he's getting there. He's not perfect, but he's getting there. He's definitely the future of this company. And this is
I forgot who it was. Maybe it was you. I don't know if it was you or if it was someone I talked to at the shop. But I've been talking about this a lot lately with Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker. But the match that they had at SummerSlam, yes, it was underwhelming, but I think it was due to time. And someone told me that that they don't mesh well together. I was just the time,
yeah.
they didn't really have time together in the ring. But I thought this match, very much so. I think put that to rest that
Oh
these
yeah.
two have a good match with each other.
This was head and shoulders their best match so far. Because like you said, they're probably given more time. The Money in the Bank match, it was okay. The SummerSlam match, you just pointed out like it's not for sure if it was like maybe cut due to time, but this was this was so far their best match that they've
It was
had.
really good.
That spot where Braun Breaker just like carries Sammy like he's a pillow and just throws him over where the announcers are at. That was fucking cool.
Throw him like a javelin. Yeah. Did you see the alternate angle that Sammy put up today?
Yes.
Oh man, that was brutal.
Yeah, Braun's a beast. So the first fall, Sammy wins with a Lula kick. Braun wins with a spear on the second fall, and a lot of good back and forth action. Sammy, in this generation of workers, where do you rank Sammy, and who would you compare him to, off the top of your head?
As far as in ring work,
Yeah, for this generation of workers.
probably not as good as him, perhaps. Steamboat.
That I like that. I like that.
Steamboat. And the reason why I'm saying because Steamboat was a very sympathetic babyface. Underdog always come from behind for a win. That's the same thing what Sami Zayn does.
Yeah, Sammy. because I mentioned earlier that Cody was better in the chase. Like Sammy does definitely work better in the chase because he is that underdog. Like
Hmm.
he's the guy that you wouldn't expect much from because he doesn't exactly have six board abs, six washboard abs or 24-inch pythons, but he's got heart. He kind of has this weird physique where like one moment he looks like he has abs and the next moment he has like a belly. So, but I love Sami Zayn. I love anything he does. But yeah, I think yeah, sooner rather than later he's going to be added into the Bloodline Civil War storyline, which
Yeah.
is going to coincide with Survivor Series War Game. So, anywho, but yeah, this is a good match. Braun wins with a in the air spear. Sammy tries to go for a mid-air move and Braun catches him with a spear. So Braun is still the Intercontinental Champion. Where he goes from here, I don't know. Sammy, we kind of know where he's going to go from here. But anywho, that was Raw. Thoughts on the match, the main event.
It was great. Like, we already kind of went over, but it was a great main event.
All right, so that was Raw, people. Pretty good Raw.
Yeah, not as good as last week, but still good.
Oh,
I mean, you can't top last week. I mean, it's gonna be very hard to do that. So
now we're on to NXT, which was last night, which I did not take notes for. But NXT, I don't really think you need to really take too many notes. It's a kind of very cut and dry, but still a better show, wrestling show otherwise. Ethan Page comes out. Actually, no, the show opens with Sarah Schreiber trying to get a word from Wesley. Wesley says pretty much now's not the time. Ethan Page ends up taking the mic from her and adding his own microphone gimmick. Comes out, basically just talk about his next contenders, saying, whether it's Joe Hendry, whether it's Pete Dunne, Trick Williams, or Wesley, it doesn't matter. Joe Hendry comes out, because they spoke of his name, so he shall appear.
up here,
He will appear. Talks about, I will take your NXT title, essentially. While that's happening, Wesley comes out of nowhere and super kicks Joe Hendry right in the face. So, I mean, that's the best way to get heel heat is to go after Joe Hendry, and Wesley is well on his way to that kind of heel heat, which we'll get into his promo later in the night. But that was a nice way to open the show. You had Tony D'Angelo versus Charlie Dempsey for the Heritage Cup Championship. I mean, we all know how I feel about these Heritage Cup matches. So the end of the match, Ren Sinclair, who's now a part of No Quarter Catch Crew, she ends up. What does she do? She distracts Tony D'Angelo while he's on the top rope while the referee isn't looking, and Charlie Dempsey gets the win. So Charlie Dempsey is now a two-time Heritage Cup champion.
I know you're not very big into these matches. I thought the match was, I won't say great, but I thought it was good. But Tavion Heights, they keep mentioning him being in Japan. So he's I don't know if you've seen some of his work that he's been doing over there in Noah. Have you seen that on social media, perhaps?
I know they mentioned it on the show. I have not watched it, unfortunately.
Well, not. I mean, I haven't watched the match either, but I've just been seeing some of his work. He seems to be getting very over with the fans over there in Japan. He has like his belly to belly is sick. It looks really good. So it seems like he's getting over there over in Japan. I haven't really seen much of Briggs's work. They haven't really been showing. It seems like Tavion has been the more of a star over there. That's been making more headlines at least over there in Japan. So
I do like Tavion. I thought he had a really good match with Tony not too long ago, and I just got kicked off the page. Oh no, I'm back. Next is you had Eddie Thorpe versus Lexus King in a rematch. Lexus King won. The match was what it was. So Lexus King won. And then you had a Trick Williams promo talking about Pete Dunne. Next is you had Lola Vice versus Tatum Paxley. Early in the night, Lola Vice tried to, I guess, talk some sense into Tatum. Tatum says, pretty much you're not my friend, yada, yada, yada. So then they end up booking a match for later on, which, I I actually still don't really match up well. It's kind of a contrast in styles. But yeah, Lola ended up winning after some distraction from winning Chu on the outside, attacking the women's North American champion, Kalani. And then afterwards, you see Lola help up Tatum. So I don't know what's going to happen there. So other than Jordan and Chu, it should make the No Mercy card on November 1st. So do you think Wendy Chu is going to be the next in line for the women's North American title?
Yeah, I think that's a great possibility. I think they'll have a damn good match. Wendy Chu's very underrated. I know
Oh
she's
yeah,
like very character work, but like in ring, I think she's very good.
yeah, she's good. I'm not saying she's bad. It's kind of like with Nikki Cross, where like she's very good, but it's just like they've just gone through so many gimmicks with her. It's just like okay, pick one that works. But hopefully this gimmick works. But yeah, she is very good. I'm not taking away her talent. They also announced a gauntlet eliminator match for next week for the women's title or women's NXT title. Wesley comes out to basically explain his actions and kind of gives the old hat, you know, promo of like I got tired of having to carry you. I got tired of having to fix your mistakes. I got tired of having to wake you up to go to the airport on time. Blah blah blah, and then ends it with from WWE superstar Wesley, we wish you the best in your future endeavors. I thought that was kind of a cold line. After which you had Joe Hendry come out to attack Wes for what happened earlier in the night, and then Pete Dunne came out. Or no, Pete Dunne came out first to kind of congratulate Wesley on finally getting rid of Zach, which Wesley pointed out to Zach like, hey, if you want to have a match at No Mercy, I'll be glad to beat the holy hell out of you. And then, like I mentioned, Joe Hendry came out. So I'm guessing either. Oh yeah, they did announce next week it will be Wesley, Pete Dunne, and Joe Hendry to see who will face um, Ethan Page at No Mercy for the NXT title, which more than likely will be Joe Hendry, and I'm assuming Carter will come out to cost Wesley the match. So we'll see how that goes. Uh, what did you think about the promo from Wesley?
I think it was good. It justifies his heel turn. It gave reason behind it. And he's kind of making like a TNA versus WWE thing. Like, hey, like I'm a WWE superstar. He's like using WWE um vernacular. So I thought that was good.
Next is you had a North American Championship, which was Oba Femi versus Otis. Oba had made this open challenge spot, and then on Raw he was sitting up front and confronting Otis, and then he chose Otis. So, but yeah, this match was good. Pretty good match. Otis is another guy, like I mentioned, that he's over with the fans. I mean, he can work. I think a lot of what makes his gimmick work is that people love Otis. People love Otis the character. They love when he does the oh yeah bit. But yeah, he can actually work, and he kind of proved himself against King Oba is what I call him. Um, Oba ended up winning with a very impressive sit down power bomb, a la Batista style. So Oba is still the North American champion. They lately they've been kind of teasing a program with him and Tony D'Angelo, where anytime Tony talks, you just see Oba just kind of shove everybody out of the way and say I'm here. And then last week they kind of did the same thing where Tony D'Angelo cuts off Oba, so kind of looks like Tony is next in line for that North American title. But what'd you think about this match, Otis and Oba?
Meat madness. It was good.
Meat madness. Loved it. And then you had Izzy Dame versus Brinley Reese. Dame got the win, so wasn't anything too crazy about that.
Same thing. Both girls are developing just fine.
Yeah,
I think Brinley Reese. I think she does have something to her. Just don't know exactly what it is as of yet, but a lot of these women that Shawn Michaels brings in all not all, but a lot of them look the same. So they really need to do something to make them stand out to be different from each other. Carmen Petrovic and Soruka, two completely different women, right?
Yeah.
Tiffany Stratton, definitely different, right? It starts to get a little cloudy. Ooh, Jasmine Nix, even though she's a brunette, right? Izzy Dame, Brinley Reese, Stevie Turner. Yeah, it's like it's getting a little mixed in there. If you all line them up side by side, I would forget who's who a little bit. But again, NXT has the best character development in wrestling right now, in my opinion. So I think they'll get there for sure.
Oh yeah. Um, just kind of piggyback off of what you said. Like, I know what you mean by all the same because majority of them are blonde, but like I think another way to kind of look at it is like a lot of them just kind of have that same aura about them where it's like, oh, this girl was an athlete in college for playing soccer or, mixed martial arts or whatever. And, a lot of them, like the Tiffany Strattons, they do end up finding their own stride of, this is a gimmick and this works for me. Yeah, I think Brinley Reese, I think she'll find her stride. Thea Hale has kind of found her stride, even though she's not even like she's not even old enough to drink.
Yeah, well,
And
Thea, I don't count Thea because, like, I know who Thea. We know who Thea Hell is, and like,
right, but
she's not part of those other blondes. You know what I mean?
no,
Like,
right, but like the point I was trying to make was like everybody has found their stride, and Thea found her stride. Tiffany found her stride. Kiani or Kalani, I'm sorry, Kalani. I love her to death, but I think she still needs to find her stride. What that is, I don't know. Just doing the "I'm happy to be here" babyface shtick, eventually it's gonna wear off, and she's gonna need to find a gimmick. Kind of like with Roxanne. Like Roxanne, for a while, was doing the "I'm happy to be here" babyface shtick, and then eventually she found her gimmick, and it's working.
what's her
Um,
gimmick? That she's just pissed off.
that she's pissed off. It's kind of like with Drew McIntyre, where I'm
Is
pissed
it
off.
really? Is it really a gimmick though? Like Roxy doesn't really have a gimmick. Kelani Jordan doesn't really have a gimmick. She's just babyface. Like
She's got
Roxanne is the complete opposite of what she used to be, but it
yeah,
doesn't really make it a gimmick. Like, when I
personality.
think gimmick, I think of like Tiffany Stratton, like like rich Barbie doll, who's insanely talented, and who's a gymnast or whatnot, right? I don't really see a gimmick with Roxy or even Kalani. So Ruka has a gimmick, you
Yeah,
know. Yeah, I mean she has identity there. Carmen Petrovic has a little bit of a gimmick. Um, but again, I don't really see like I get what you're saying, but like I don't think a lot of wrestlers have to have gimmicks in order for you
personality.
to be or to be yeah.
Personality change. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, but she's a baby face. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Eventually.
what more the crowd loves her. I
Oh
think
yeah.
I think if the crowd loves her and if she's doing her part as a baby face, I think she's fine the way she is currently.
But eventually she's gonna need to find an edge that works for her. I'll just leave it at that. But
Oh, of course, of course, of course, of course, for sure.
we cut to Ashante the Adonis trying to spit more game, being the man whore of NXT, getting turned down while he has a fanny pack, which I thought was hilarious. Notices Dion Lennox is getting all the ladies because he's reading a book. And then he asks Dion Lennox, "What are you reading?" "It ends with us." He's like, "Oh yeah, well next week is gonna end with us when we have a match." So yeah. Then we get to the main event, the NXT Tag Team Championships, Nathan Frazier and Axiom versus Chase U. I thought this was a delightful Tag Team Championship match. Um, I will say this. I don't know how you feel about this. Rich Holland, a guy who I'll admit, I'll take blame for this. I admit I was writing him off. I was like, maybe cut bait with this guy. He seems like he's more trouble than he's worth. But yeah, he's found new life back in NXT. Working with Chase U. Where that eventually leads to, I don't know. But for now, I think he's done a really good job with Chase U. Almost kind of being their, I guess their new influencer, if that makes sense. Got him a new classroom, got him new colors, and yeah, he's I don't want to say overall improving in the ring, but slightly improving in the ring. I'll just put it that way. But yeah, just this is a really good match. I love Chase U. I'm a big fan of Axiom and Frazier, more so Frazier. Um, this is a very good match. This is a very good tag match. I don't really know how else to put it. Chase U ends up getting the win, and they celebrate in the ring with confetti. As always, they had the entire class of Chase U in the ring with them. I don't know if it was the entire class, but it was a Chase U alma mater. But yeah, Chase U, new NXT Tag Team Champions, two-time NXT Tag Team Champions, I may add. They did had that short run for like what, a week, 2 weeks, where it was Andre Chase and Duke Hudson. But now it's Andre Chase and Ridge Holland. But what were your thoughts on the main event and the win?
I think you have a bad habit of writing people off. They come around on.
Like I'm taking ownership of it. I'll
I
admit.
know that, but I think you have a bad habit of that. But you're to your point, you're taking ownership of it, so that's good. Uh, and like I'm not a huge Ridge Holland fan to begin with either, but so
Right.
I'm no saint here. But yeah, it was good. It was really good. You know, I am kind of upset that the title change happened here because I think Nathan Frazier and Axiom is obviously carried this damn division, right? It seems like they want to, split them up. Um, I'm gonna say this once. I'm gonna say this again. They need to take the mask off Axiom. They just need to. If they are serious about making him a star, a single star, I think they need to take that mask off of him because there's way too many masked wrestlers in WWE. Not as much as AEW, but I think they need to cut that sooner rather than later. But I think they're gonna have them split. It seems like they're kind of trying to trend towards Frazier being a heel, right? Or maybe it'll be Axiom. They're teasing it on both ways. So, but as far as Chase U winning, fine with it. I really really like this group. I think this group is a perfect NXT group. I don't really see them um, being a main roster group as far as them like being super over as they are in NXT. This is a perfect NXT kind of indie-ish type, gimmick. Yeah, hell, definitely see her being moved up right. Maybe Riley Osborne because he has that talent. But outside of that, I don't. I mean, I love Andre Chase, but it's like, I don't really see him doing much on the main roster. Same thing with Duke Hudson as well. Duke, immensely talented, but there's ceilings that need to be met, and I think they're ceiling NXT. Nothing wrong with that. They can be on. They can be down there, make their money right, and use Chase U as like a they can use Chase U as the college, obviously, for NXT, which is the college to WWE, and they can just have revolving members and have someone like Andre Chase always being there. And I think that'll be a good fit, but I don't really see them going up to the main roster and like making waves. But them winning the titles, I think this is perfect. I think it's a perfect situation for them right now. So hopefully they have a good long title reign.
Yes, sir. But that was NXT, people. NXT usually is a very delightful show to watch. To quote our good friend Jeff Lippman, NXT was delightful.
Good, good, good.
Uh,
I didn't
our
see AEW tonight. From what I gathered, it was underwhelming as of last week. But I only saw one thing. You'll never guess. You're not gonna guess, but Mina Shirakawa. That's all I gotta say.
All right then.
She's a specimen. I will say that.
Spec-
She's a
But
specimen.
but that was all the wrestling talk, people. Let's get to news. You have a lot more news than me, so let's start with you. So what do you got?
Yeah. I may be covering everything here actually, but Seth Rollins' current injury issues are set to be chronic, and he'll be taking time off. That's coming from the Wrestling News Observer newsletter. So he'll be taking some time off due to chronic issues. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll be coming back. Any thoughts about Seth Rollins taking some time off?
I mean, I'm I think out of the very few people, I'm not speaking for you, but like I think I'm a Seth Rollins apologist to an extent, even though it kind of gets a little hard sometimes. But like, yeah, Seth definitely needs time off. Like he really does need time off. When after WrestleMania, I was of the idea of like, all right, Seth, Becky, Becky for contractual reasons, but they really need in reality take some time off for the whole year to kind of recharge because Seth has been. It seems like for the past 10 years, Seth has really been overexposed. And I do like Seth. Seth, at the end of the day, can still go out there and put on a great match, but he really does need time to recharge his batteries. But I don't know. We'll see with this one. I mean, with the whole Bronson thing, maybe it's a way to kind of write him off for a few months, but we'll see.
All right. All right. Moving on here. Next, we haven't heard from Kenny Omega in a while. How do you feel about Kenny Omega being off of AEW TV?
Well, I mean, didn't he just had like a surgery thing, right?
Yeah, he had diverticulitis, the Brock Lesnar thing.
Right. Um, how do I feel about it? Kind of weird, which is coming from me. Because, like, when you think of all elite wrestling, you think of the elite. And when you
Right.
think of the elite, you think of Kenny.
Right.
And, lately, Kenny has kind of grown on me more as a person because he's been saying things that just seem very logical. And I know you and me have kind of agreed that Kenny, it seems like the more rational one out of that whole group, where, like, he lately has been like, yeah, maybe these things don't work the way I thought they did.
Well, I mean,
So,
it's not just that, but I mean, I set this long before you started coming around him. I did mention like he's more rational, but I say he's more mature. But like he just the way just he carries himself versus the Young Bucks is night and day. He even like I'm pretty sure you've seen this, but like he was doing a live stream and he was like, "Oh, some people were saying like, oh, Roman Reigns is boring." And he was like, "I don't think Roman is boring at all. I think he's like having like a great run." He's like, "I wish I could be like Roman to a certain extent."
yeah.
So, have you seen that clip before?
Yeah, I saw that, and then, like, it was funny, Jim Cornette was actually covering the comments he made, and it's funny because Kenny made this comment which actually blew away Cornette and Brian Last, where Kenny said, "I don't like giving away too much in wrestling. I don't like peeling back the curtain." And you just hear Cornette going, "Ah, wait," and then he played like the applause, like sound effect. I'm like, "Oh God." But yeah, just Kenny just kind of looking at things like, yeah, I guess this makes sense and this doesn't make sense. Like him talking about the 5-star ratings which from Dave saying that, yeah, he's been kind of giving away too many 5-star ratings, for just like any match. But anyways, continue.
Yeah, anyway, so it's not nothing about that, but pretty much an injury update coming from Meltzer. Meltzer believes that we'll see Kenny Omega make his AEW return before the end of the year. He's getting better. I know that he's been in the gym. He is coming back. That's pretty much the word. I don't think it's like months and months away, but just the vibe that I have is he'll be back before the end of the year. That's coming from Dave Meltzer and the Wrestling Observer newsletter. So, K Omega, according to Dave Meltzer, maybe, in his opinion, it's not saying that he is for sure. Maybe come back towards the end of the year. I think that'll be a big thing for AEW if he does come back for the end of the year. What do you think?
Good for AEW.
All right. Speaking of AEW, we basically are, talked about this last week, but just an update here. Multiple sources in AEW, this was as of yesterday, believe that Penta pushing back on reports. So his brother Ray Phoenix will be able to leave AEW without contractual hurdles. Yesterday, Penta went on, I believe it was on Twitter, where he said AEW is my present. Also went on to say that numerous sources close to Penta said that he claimed he would be in Orlando this week, but did not specify if it was a performance center visit. Penta does have a booking in Mexico on Thursday, which is tomorrow, and both of those came from Fightful Select. So, as the Lucha Brothers turn, we think of this whole situation with the Lucha Brothers. Penta coming out saying AEW is my president, and with all this here, do you think there's still possibly WWE bound as rumored last week, or do you think there's something else going on?
I think it's Penta politely saying I'm under contract with another company, so I can't say that I want to go to another company.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like Ricky Starks, I think, kind of said the same thing. So, I mean, you're not just going to outright come out and say, hey, I want to go to WWE, fuck this place. Like, you have to be politically correct or just polite in general.
Again, as I mentioned last week, how are they having talks about Penta and Ray Fix coming to WWE when they're still in the contract? How is he going to be visiting Orlando? Why are you going to be in Orlando? There's nothing in Orlando other than the Performance Center, right? So it's like what's going on? You know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Any other thoughts about that before we move on?
Nope.
All right. Speaking of AEW deals being up, this is not a shocker. This is just a note. We can just move on directly after this. But Ricky Starks is very much within wrestling expecting to go to WWE after his AEW deal is up. When that deal is, we don't know. But that's coming from the Wrestling Observer newsletter and Dave Meltzer. Ricky Starks is signed, still delivered to WWE, pretty much, if you ask me. The question is, do you think he'll be on Raw or NXT? I think that's probably a bigger question at this point. But Ricky, it's news, but it's not news. So
Yeah.
all right. So any thoughts about that before we move on?
Ricky already has a parking spot at the Performance Center, so we can move on.
Speaking of, and this may have a little bit of a conversation here, but Daniel Garcia is conflicted about what he wants to do next, whether it's staying with AEW or entertaining the possibility of going to WWE. And also as well, I believe it was as of this past weekend, he hasn't signed a deal yet with AEW. So that came from a hashtag PWN. He's feeling conflicted going to WWE or his decision. Why do you think he feels conflicted?
I mean, if he feels conflicted, it's like, again, I'm going to sound like a WWE dick rider, but I'm just pointing out the truth. Like, WWE is hot right now. They're the hot company. AEW, for a short while, they were the hot new toy. Now they're really not. Like, the honeymoon phase has kind of ended with AEW for a multitude of reasons. And maybe Daniel Garcia just sees what's going on in WWE and he sees a situation, allegedly, I'll use the word allegedly, for what's going on in AEW. And he's like, do I really stay here because I want to make more money, or do I go to WWE and become a bigger star? And again, I'm not the
Would he be
big.
a bigger star in WWE?
That's I was about to say that I'm not the biggest Daniel Garcia fan. I'm really not. I think he's a little bland for my taste. But if he goes to WWE, there's obviously going to be more eyes on him. Maybe the WWE machine can help him be a bigger star. I mean, at best, maybe Intercontinental Champion. That's a ceiling. But I mean,
I honestly don't even see that, man. To be honest.
just yeah. But yeah, if there's confliction, it's just him going, what seems like the bigger move for me if I want to be a bigger star, quote unquote.
Do you think that this is why I think he feels conflicted. I'll ask you, do you think he feels conflicted because Tony Khan made him a star in AEW and he will feel like he will like he's turning his back on him because AEW, where we disagree or not, we know who Dan Garcia is, and it's because of AEW.
Yeah.
And do you think he feels conflicted because he feels like he'll be turning his back on the company that made him a star?
I mean, there's that. I mean, there's that too, because at the end of the day, there's still going to be people that are loyal to Tony.
Right.
Because I mean, everyone's loyal to anyone. Like, there's people in WWE that are still loyal to Vince. Like, I mean, this is kind of like an off-topic story. Like, Bobby Lashley said in an interview that Vince understood me and Triple H doesn't know what to do with me. Like, there's still people that are loyal to the old regime.
Right. I understand.
Which makes sense. Like, and again, there's still people in AEW that are going to be loyal to Tony because, he either made them richer or he made them bigger stars. And in Daniel's case, whether we have
Both.
whether we have opposing viewpoints on Daniel Garcia or not, like we know who Daniel Garcia is because of how Tony Khan booked him. And as silly as the dance thing was, the dance thing got over. So yeah.
Yeah. I think if he does go to WWE, I think NXT possibly will be his ceiling. Nothing wrong with that. He'll make money there, but I think long term because he was supposed to feud with MJF, and like MJF's the top guy in AEW. Do you see Daniel Garcia feuding even with a Drew McIntyre or a Seth Rollins
No.
like you see what I'm saying? So it's like maybe it'll be better for him to stay in AEW, right? Maybe that's
K-
probably why he's feeling conflicted. But he's also probably feeling conflicted because it's like,
Yeah.
he wants to take a chance on himself. And if he wants to take a chance on himself, come to WWE and NXT, like
Yeah.
by all means, man, come over, prove us wrong.
I was
I
gonna
think
Well, I was also gonna say something like there's gotta be people that realistically you can see on the main roster from AEW. And Daniel Garcia, unless like he has this like dramatic character transformation, which I don't see, like you said, I don't see him in the ring with like Drew McIntyre or Seth Rollins. Like he's a guy at best is gonna succeed more in NXT. In AEW, people like Ricky Starks, Wardlow, Hobbs, MJF, are more realistic choices of I can see them being stars in NXT and on the main roster, especially
yeah,
the main roster.
yep.
But yeah, just like not everybody needs to go to WWE. Like again, I can't speak for wrestlers because at the end of the day, if you're a professional wrestler, you grew up watching WWE and your goal is to go to the WWE at some point in your career. But like I mean, at this point, like WWE has a lot of stars. I think as far as like main roster stars, they're kind of full. On
Oh
NXT,
yeah.
they can probably use more stars since they're going to
The
CW.
NXT men's main event division does need help right now.
Yeah, men's division, tag team division, women's division seems fine now. But like, just yeah, just the names I mentioned: Hobbs, Wardlow, Starks, MJF. As far as like AEW's, main roster stars, or I guess they're only roster stars,
Yeah.
are more realistic the names of like, hey, I can see them on the main roster because they actually look and act like stars.
Yep. Okay. Moving on. Yeah. So WWE, they've been all over the world over the last couple years. England, Australia. They're gonna be in Germany, France, Puerto Rico. They've been all over the world pretty much, right? So,
Mhm.
um, in 2025, they're looking to go to another country. What country do you think they're possibly looking to get into?
Would it be Italy?
It'll be Italia. Italia,
Italia.
cospiage. Yes. So WWE is expected to
Ah,
host a
bella.
PLE from Italy in 2025. So yeah, that'll be pretty cool, right? Bring back Santino Morella. You know what I mean? Hey, maybe Fabian and Eichner. I'm sorry, Giovanni Vinci. Hey man, maybe get a big title match. I'm not saying for the world title, but maybe
Or,
U.S. Intercontinental title.
or
That'll be
Tony
great.
D'Angelo?
Tony D, of course, right? You know what I mean? So, maybe have the D'Angelo family there. You know what I mean? Come up with the real Italian. I know probably not. No, he's doing like the mafia gimmick, and that's
Or
where I don't
or,
know if that's a good idea. Actually,
or I was gonna say bring back the FBI for like
I
one
don't.
night.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. But yeah, but anyway, yeah, but I don't think they've been to Italy in as far as like any TV events or anything since that Santino Morella Raw. Has it, or have they been back since then?
I'm actually checking right now. Yeah, it was at Santino Marella Raw,
Yeah, when you won
where
when you won the title, right? His debut, that so.
where he
So
where
yeah,
he debuted.
yeah. So I
Yeah,
think it'd be a good idea for them to go back to Italy and be in that market. So
yeah, I remember that. Like, just for anyone that doesn't know, 2007 Umaga, comes out, and Vince comes out in his do rag, do rag Vince, and I guess holds an open challenge and picks out somebody from the crowd who was Santino Marella, who,
yep,
uh, the infamous story about how he got Jim Cornette fired from OVW. But
yeah,
yeah, look that up, people. But yeah, I'm happy for this because I, people want to give Triple H all the credit and deservedly so, but Nick Khan really deserves the credit. He's making these deals happen, and I like these overseas pay-per-views. I, you know, um, I like the Puerto Rico pay per view from last year. I'm liking the other ones this year. The Italy pay per view should be fun. Um, the Germany pay per view should be fun. I don't know. I mean, who knows where else they're gonna go? So I'm looking forward to it.
Right. Um. Next story here. Got some returning news, possibly. Bandito. AEW star Bandito still hasn't been cleared. He's out with injury right now, but he should be soon. That's coming from the Wrestling Observer newsletter. Moving on. Video package was shown for the passing of Kevin Sullivan. Kevin Sullivan passed away last Friday. He was obviously very much well known in WCW and NWA and also in Florida as well for his a very well ahead time satanic gimmick that he had. So he had his girlfriend slash wife Nancy Sullivan there.
Woman.
Yeah, woman, of course, with that time, and of course, made the Dungeon of Doom in WCW, which they really like. They really like harped on that, and I'm like, that's like the end of his career, and that's like probably like the most like shameful, but that's like the most national exposure he had was in the Dungeon of Doom in WCW, and he had like my most favorite memory of Kevin Sullivan was at the end of his career because that's when I saw him, right. His last feud before he retired as a fully in ring competitor was against Chris Benoit, and he had a match at Bash of the Beach. And I remember that was my first time before. I haven't seen before or really since in a mainstream pro wrestling venue or show that they use wooden chairs against each other. So yeah, so recipes Kelvin Sullivan. I mean, I enjoyed him when I was younger, for the time that I did see him, for the short time I've seen him. But you have any memories or anything of Kevin Sullivan, the Taskmaster?
I'm not gonna lie here. I did not. I mean, I know who Kevin Sullivan is, obviously. I can't really say I have too many fond memories of him because I didn't really watch too much of his stuff. I'm just going by what you say. Our friend of the show, Kevin Castle, famously talks about how his dad would drive him to Florida to watch, Kevin Sullivan, with woman.
Yep.
But I just know about his career. I know what I know about him. I like the vignette. Oh, not the vignette, the package, about Kevin Sullivan. I get why they edited out Nancy because yeah, she
Oh
played a
yeah.
big she played a big part in his career, but at the same time you're gonna have those goofs that are gonna try and associate Nancy with Chris, which is
Well, I
unfortunate.
mean, look. Let's just be honest about this.
Yeah.
Woman, Wabatur, obviously sad, right? Chris, he's not to blame here. It's Kevin Sullivan. Kevin Sullivan is the one that killed Chris
God.
Benoit and Nancy Sullivan. I mean, it's obvious. But WWE's over here celebrating him like those two timing sons of bitches, man. Boy, I tell you.
You're kidding, right?
Yeah, no. Why would I be kidding? Kevin Sullivan killed Benoit and Nancy and Daniel. Just like how the Iron Sheik said. Daniel!
What did you do, Chris?
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, that's possibly the greatest shoe interview of all time, man. I love that fucking interview, man. God.
I was more Nancy with my goddamn friend and fuck Chris Benoit. New Jack, that was my New Jack. Anywho, forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, Nancy. Yeah, just unfortunate. I mean, it's unfortunate because she did have her own career before being with Chris, and a lot of people regarded her as being one of the best, like valets, probably of all time. And unfortunately, WWE had to kind of cut out her career highlights with Kevin because of what happened with Chris. But yeah, just rest in peace to because he was obviously a legend. He had legendary moments. Especially, I saw Lexus King, post something saying "I respect you, Booker Man," which
Becky Booker, man.
which I did see that moment, of Brian Pillman, having that match on WCW with Sullivan and getting on the mic and saying, "I respect you, Booker Man," which at that time was considered a no-no to peel back the curtain. But yeah, rest in peace to Mr. Sullivan.
All right. Well, moving on. According to talent close to Tommy Billington, they say that he's been signed by AEW. So that's the Diamond Kid's son.
Yep.
Yeah. So it looks like he signed AEW from Fightful Select. Also, as well, a little bit of an update on that too, as well. After his match with Dax Harwood on Collision, I believe it was on Collision. WWE did reach out to them. There was a little bit of a bidding back and forth, but it seems like Tommy Billington is going to be going to AEW. So good for him. Good for Dynamite Kid's son, and good for him to continue his father's, his lineage there. So yeah, I'm not too sure if you ever seen his work or anything like that of Tommy Billington, but he signed with AEW. Thoughts?
I saw that. Good for him.
All right, cool. All right, moving on. This is a double story here. We can I'll knock two birds off with one stone here, but the Globe Life Field Stadium is most likely a landing point for a AEW Dallas stadium show coming out from Fightful Select, and also as well, this is coming from the Sporting News. The AEW lineup blockbuster, possible all Australian stadium show for 2025. So potential venues, possibly they may get up to 3 shows, possibly 3 stadium shows in 2025. You got Sydney, possibly Melbourne and Brisbane, but there could be a possibility that that we could see um 2 stadium shows possibly from AEW in 2025. So quick thoughts about that.
Uh, good for them. That's really all I gotta say.
Yeah. And you want to elaborate? Anything else?
Hopefully they can fill it up. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so yeah, I hope so. I hope so too. I mean, if they are able to land both of those stadium shows, good for them. I mean, and also as well, yeah, one being in Texas, like I don't know. I may gander, depending on the card, I may gander and maybe go out there and check the show out. Be a good experience.
Nice.
Well, we'll see. Anyway, moving on. 2 injury updates for WWE. Jacob Fatu is expected to return by the end of August. That's coming from PW Insider. Also from PW Insider, Michael Cole announced on Raw that Dakota Kai will be undergoing surgery for a torn meniscus, and the expectations for her to be out 2 to 3 months. Dakota Kai, she is bitten by the injury bug, man. But I'm glad it's not that serious. It's only out for a few months, but damn, man, that has to suck. So, any quick thoughts about that before we move on to? We got a couple more stories left here after this.
I mean, there's really nothing else to be said. Just yeah. I mean, Jacob Fatu, we've kind of already figured what was going on with that, and then Dakota, just again, I hate to kick someone when they're down, but yeah, just glad it's nothing too serious like it was in the past, but yeah. So moving on.
2 contract updates. Looks like LA Knight has signed a new deal with WWE. That's coming from Fightful. No actual details on that. Obviously, he won the United States title, so of course. And Randy Orton has confirmed that he signed a 5-year extension to remain with WWE. Obvious as well as Randy Orton. He's a lifer. That's also coming from Fightful Select. I don't think we're surprised by one of those.
Oh no. The LA Knight's a star. Randy Orton's gonna be there till the day he dies, which knock on wood. Hope he's not. Knock on wood. I'll just put it that way. And then
Yeah, I wouldn't think. Yeah.
who was the other guy?
Died. Huh?
Who was the other way? LA Knight, Orton, who?
That's it.
Okay, yeah, they're gonna be there. They're gonna be there for a while.
All right. 2 more news stories left, and one quick little thing here after that. Are you familiar with Michael Oku by chance?
Sounds vaguely familiar.
He wrestled Raw Spray at Rev Pro. He's like Rev Pro's like top guy right now. But anyway, it seems like he's gonna be signed with the AEW. Michael Oku and Amira are close to joining AEW and are expected to soon. No deal has been signed as of yet, but AEW sources said that they wouldn't be surprised for them to see them on AEW UK shows. Malcolm Oku is very talented, very athletic, and he's a hell of a storyteller. So, for anyone who has not seen any of his work as of yet, he had a match earlier this year, at the beginning of this year, with Will Ospreay. Um, being said to be probably Will Ospreay's second or third best match of the year. So yeah, and Mike Oku's very young, and he's very young. He's very black too. So so which is good. We love. I mean, I'm black, so I gotta represent for the brothers there. So. But it seems like he's gonna get a big payday at the very young age of. But yeah, so Michael Oku possibly signing with AEW. I don't think you'll have thoughts on that, but yeah, but it was in the news, so
I have thoughts.
yeah.
Good for him.
Okay. Right. This is local news.
Ooh.
Did want to bring this up on the podcast because it's very important to locally here in San Antonio, but it's been gaining arounds on social media as well, just due to of this particular company and what they have done for women's wrestling. Possibly I mean, to me, it's the number one women's wrestling promotion independently in the United States. Mission Pro Wrestling is going on a hiatus. Donna Rosa announced on last when was this? It was last last Thursday. Last Thursday, she announced that um after much consideration, our team has decided that Mission Pro Wrestling will go on a hiatus after the August 17th show, which is this Saturday coming out, Midsummer Blast show in San Antonio. This will be our last show of 2024, and no future dates will be announced at this time. This was not an easy decision. We understand that this is disappointing news to Mission Pro fans, financial supporters, and talent. Please know that we are committed to using our time away as an opportunity to reset and calibrate our organizational structure goals to better serve the women's wrestling community. And went on to say, "This is not a goodbye. This is not goodbye. This is goodbye for now. Hope to see you all soon. Sincerely, Thunder Rosa." Mission Pro Wrestling. So, to me, I wanted to bring this up. This is a big deal because of the local women here, the local talent here getting the rubs here from Thunder Rosa. It puts a big spotlight here of women's wrestling in San Antonio, and women have gotten an opportunity not only in WWE with Maddie Rinkowski, Ren Sinclair. She was in Mission Pro. She was a champion down there, right? She got noticed from WWE from Mission Pro. Also, Roxanne Perez, Roxy. And also as well, Maya World. She's been getting runs on Ring of Honor. She's like only 19 years old, very talented, going up against Athena. You know what I mean? So Mission Pro Wrestling is very important to women's wrestling, and certain women gain that rub in those opportunities. I want to take the time to comment on that just because of the fact that a lot of I won't name names, but a lot of individuals have came into my store, my shop, thanking me on promoting their shows and getting people out to their shows. So I did want to take the time to talk about that because I think it's very important of not only local wrestling here, but women's local wrestling and the spotlight that Mission Pro had, not just here in San Antonio or in Texas, but all over the country. So, I know you haven't been to one of those shows before, Drew, but I know you've heard of it.
Yeah.
Any quick thoughts about that for move on?
I mean, yeah, anyone that knows me knows and it's not by choice, but it's just, I haven't been to too many local shows and I do want to go. It's just, the time. But like Justin said, just support your indies. Mission Pro Wrestling was, big for not just the city of San Antonio, but for women's wrestling. So again, I'm hoping that they do stay in business. I hope this, like you said, this isn't, goodbye. This is just for now, essentially. So yeah, just I'm all big for supporting, smaller businesses and also independent wrestling. I think there does need to be more independent wrestling. Um, as much as, I do like hearing about indie wrestlers signing with bigger companies. At the end of the day, it does take away from these smaller promotions. So, but yeah, at the end of the day, support your smaller businesses, support indie wrestling, and yeah, just I hope this is just temporary.
And also as well, just a quick update. Izzy Moreno, who's Izzy, and she's the champion of Mission Pro Wrestling. Um, this happened. This just was announced maybe about an hour ago, but her opponent La Rosa Negra won't be able to compete this Saturday. Um, so yeah, so it just seems like it does seem like the end for now for Mission Pro, but when it rains, it pours. So, but hopefully they do come back because a lot of the people there have been very good to me, and I just think that if you are local, if you're in Texas, if you're gonna be visiting San Antonio sometime this weekend, I think we all owe it as a wrestling community to go out and support them. So,
Yes, sir.
all right, last thing. I'm not gonna like have you guess or anything because we're running short on time here, but Dave Meltzer's SummerSlam star rating. So he gave Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley a 3.5 star out of 5.
Fair.
Braun Breaker versus Sami Zayn 2.5 stars. LA Knight versus Logan Paul 4 stars. Nia Jax versus Bailey 2.5 stars.
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk 3 stars.
Yeah, that should have been higher,
Gunther
but
versus no, hold on, let me finish.
all right.
Gunther versus Damian Priest 4.25. That was the highest match rated on the show. And Cody Rhodes versus Sol Sikoa 4 stars. So on average, it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3 matches that had at least 4 stars. Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley had the 3.5 star match. Drew McIntyre and CM Punk had a 3-star match. And you had the 2 lowest rated matches were 2.5 stars. So it seems, and 2.5 stars pretty much average matches according to Dave Meltzer. But anything above 3 stars is a really good match. So yeah. I know it seems like you want to comment on that. So what you gotta say?
I mean, Punk and Drew should have been higher. I mean, again, these ratings at the end of the day, they
It's
are
an
what they
opinion.
are. Like we know, it's an opinion, a far-fetched opinion, but an opinion nonetheless.
Well, we have far-fetched opinions too, to be honest, on some stuff. So
Yeah, true. But yeah, just Punk and Drew should have been higher. I don't know about 3 stars. The main event, Cody and Solo, I wouldn't say that was a bad match, but I don't know if it should have been 4 stars. Damien and Gunther, I agree. I thought that was maybe if you had to pick favorite match of the night, that might have been one of them. Yeah, the other ones, Braun and Sammy, I
those
don't
two
know,
and a half stars, yeah.
I think we speculated that maybe that was just like short on time. Um, Bailey and Nia was just not good at all. Um, Rhea and Liv, I would say maybe should be slightly higher. I think the ending was maybe a little too convoluted in my opinion, but just other than a few other ratings, I would have changed. But yeah,
Okay. Well, I mean, I can't say I disagree with a lot of this, but I think it was, and I think it's fine. But again, that's one man's opinion.
yeah.
They values over anything else. But anyway, that's all I got.
All right, so like
I
you
told you
mentioned,
there was a lot of news.
yeah, we're a little short on time, so I had to cut a few things. So I'm gonna do one thing, and shouldn't take long. So, wrestling. I found disturbing moments in wrestling that can never be erased by Daisy Ruth as of August 14th, 2024. Sorry about that.
Oh my
So
god, my ears.
you're my freaking ears. So disturbing moments in wrestling. So let me start off with one of them. Triple H and Katie Vick. Where were you when this happened?
Watching Monday Night Raw on my couch. I was
Uh,
I was possibly 13 or 14.
I do remember this. This was in 2002. This was leading up to Triple H and Kane's feud going into No Mercy, where Triple H talked about how Kane and his girlfriend Katie Vick were in a car accident. You know, Triple H famously telling Kane, "You're a murderer," and then elaborating more on it, telling Kane, did you have sex with her before or after she died? And then film that vignette of Triple H wearing a Kane mask and having sex with a mannequin who's supposed to be the corpse of Kane's dead girlfriend, and then ends it with saying, "Oh, Katie, I think I might have screwed your brains out." So yeah, that happened. Uh, yeah, just as a 13-year-old kid, I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? Is this a wrestling show? Like that was just apparently that was all Vince McMahon. Just Vince McMahon was known to have a really warped sense of humor. I mean, this is a guy that
I don't
apparently.
think I've ever seen that before from Vince. I don't think Vince has a warped sense of humor.
Oh no, yeah, everybody will famously tell you Vince has
Oh
a
my god.
like according to Stephanie McMahon, Vince wanted to do a storyline where he said that he was the father of Stephanie's child.
The man.
Ah, it was me, damn it! Oh. I fucked my daughter. What a pussy. Came all over her tits. I just like the look on Justin's face, like,
I was
oh
like, a
god.
little too far there.
Hey, well, this sounds like something Vince would do. But yeah, that happened. Do you remember when Lita had a miscarriage?
Yes.
When she apparently was I guess raped, if you want to think of it, by Kane in order to protect Kane from attacking Matt Hardy, and then she was pregnant with Kane's baby, and then Gene Snitsky inadvertently pushed her off the top rope, and then she had a miscarriage.
The best thing about that storyline when he punched the fake baby in the crowd. That was fucking fantastic. Outside of that, it was fucking terrible.
Yeah, that was just it's, miscarriages in wrestling. They go hand in hand like peanut butter and I don't know, olive oil or whatever the fuck. That was just bad. This is more recent. Hangman Page drinks Swerve Strickland's blood
That was crazy.
during the Texas Death Match, as we can all remember. Um, I mean, again,
Like I'll put it to you this way: it was one of the most disgusting things I've seen. But we've seen like shit in ECW as well, like
yeah,
people running dye, like fucking Jerry Lane using Steve Carino's blood and running dye, like ugh, that's you know what I mean. But yeah, drinking blood, that's whoo man. Hey, Gangrel did it every week. No one gave a shit about it.
I mean, he's a vampire. That's different.
Oh, okay. Okay.
If you're a vampire, it's acceptable. If you're not, it's not. Again, I didn't make a big deal about it. I didn't crucify the match. I just said, hey, I didn't like the match. Plain and simple. But anyhow, that's
Oh,
not.
oh. I mean, I want to see you crucified, but you were perturbed on some things for sure.
I was, but I wasn't like I wasn't like Jim Cornette where I'm like, this is a shame to the wrestling business, and these two should never be. I'm like, no, it's just like, hey, I didn't like it because of A, B, C, and D. I'll just keep it at that. Next one, Jeff Hardy being too inebriated to compete. At was it Victory Road? Was that it?
2011.
Yeah, famously comes to the ring very much under the influence of something
And the
against.
show, and before that, mind you, the show was already all time bad. Already
Yeah,
was already an all time bad show. That just set over the top, and that's the only thing that people remember from that show.
actually, I'm curious. Let me pull up that card real quick.
It was terrible, terrible. RVD, I think it was RVD and Mr. Anderson. They had a no
I,
contest
I
or
have
some
it.
shit. It was terrible, man.
All right, so Victory Road 2011 was in March 23rd or March 13, 2011. Yeah, Tommy Dreamer defeating Bully Ray in a Falls Count Anywhere match.
That's when Bully Ray first turned heel, or around that time period.
Rosita, who I believe is Zelina Vega, and Sarita defeating Angelina Love and Winter for the TNA Knockouts Championships, or Tag Team Championships, I'm sorry.
That was, to my knowledge, that wasn't a really good match. I think it was like really short too. I think, if I remember right.
Hernandez defeated Matt Morgan in a First Blood match. So, Kazarian defeated Jeremy Buck, Max Buck, and Robbie E. In an Ultimate X match for the TNA X Division Championship.
Poor Nick and Matt Jackson, huh?
Oh yeah, that was a Generation Me.
Generation Me, yeah.
I remember them. Beer Money defeated Inc. For the TNA World Tag Team Championships. AJ Styles defeated Matt Hardy with Ric Flair in a singles match. Mr. Anderson versus Rob Van Dam ended in a double countout.
And if I remember, that was like a number one contenders match.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, Sting was supposed to wrestle Jeff Hardy. Sting was the TNA champion. He defeated Jeff Hardy after returning a few weeks prior.
Yes, I was about to mention that too. Yeah, but yeah.
And the story being, or famous story being that, Jeff Hardy was coming out. He was inebriated, and Eric Bischoff admits to his better judgment, or against his better judgment. He ended up continuing the match, but comes out and tells Sting this is going to be a no disqualification match, and then tells Sting just give him a Scorpion Death Drop and you're out. And the match ended up being what was it? 68 seconds. Or what? Not 68 seconds. Was it 68 seconds? 88 seconds. I'm sorry. There you go. Which again, the match is just Sting and Jeff doing a tie-up, if you can call it that. Sting backs Jeff into a corner, does Scorpion Death Drop, wins. The crowd very much infamously chants, "This is bullshit." Sting, being a good Christian man, doesn't say bullshit, but he goes, "I agree." So, not one of TNA's and also wrestling's better moments. Not one of Jeff's better.
That
moments.
was one of TNA's worst moments. Like I think when anybody thinks about TNA's worst moments, that's like if that's not top 3, I don't think you fully watched TNA. It's definitely top 3 to me.
Might be their worst moment if we're
oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, and then Jeff came back and asked for forgiveness from everybody in the locker room and blah blah. But yeah, that was not a very bueno moment. Nick Gage's pizza cutting incident from a few years ago. Nick Gage came out as a mystery opponent for Chris Jericho in the storyline with MJF, where he was choosing different opponents for Jericho in order for him to face him at, I forget which pay-per-view. And brings out Nick Gage at Fight for the Fallen. And they end up having a death match. Nick Gage pulls out a pizza cutter while they're doing a picture-in-picture commercial with, was it Domino's or?
Yeah, Domino's. That's the only reason why it became a big deal.
Yeah.
That's the only reason. Outside that, it would just be a normal AEW, trash spot. But since it was just hypothetical. That's all it was. You know what I mean? But that's what's gonna be remembered. I don't think that's one like the, I don't know what this list is, but what's the name of the list?
Most disturbing moments in wrestling, or something.
No, it's not one of the most disturbing moments. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, to be fair, I didn't look at this list prior, so I just thought.
No, I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying, like, whoever made this, that's not most. Like, the only reason why he made this list is because of the tie-in with the Dominoes, and that doesn't make it disturbing. That just makes it unfortunate. That's it.
Right.
Like, we've seen a lot worse. Hangman drinking the blood, yes. Give you that. 100% won't complain from me, but this, I don't think it should be on the list.
Brian Pillman's got a gun. On the infamous Monday Night Raw episode in November of 1996, where the loose cannon was at home resting, and then Steve Austin shows up to his house, attacks a few security guards or policemen, or I don't know who the fuck that was. Goes into the home of Brian Pillman. Brian Pillman has a gun, tells Steve, get the fuck out of the way. The feed cuts off, but alas, Steve Austin was never actually shot at, or he was shot at, but not shot. If that makes sense. But
you know what the terminology that they used to describe what happened?
what?
Was Steve Austin hit by any of the explosions?
Apparently not.
Because they can't say bullet, you know what I mean? Or was he struck by any bullets? So yeah, they were still
Um,
technically a PG show at that time.
That's crazy to think about. All right. Next, Mae Young gives birth to a hand. Elaboration. I'll just keep it short and sweet. Mark Henry, who was known as Sexual Chocolate during the 90s, the infamous gimmick, for whatever reason, goes into a relationship with Mae Young, finds out she is with child. As she's giving birth, she gives birth to a slimy prosthetic hand. Which, according to Vince, again, keeping up with Vince's weird sense of humor, according to Mark Henry asks Vince, why a hand? And Vince goes, I'm giving you a hand. Yeah, my wife looks on in disgust. But yeah, that happened. So, any thoughts on that being a disturbing wrestling moment?
No.
I like how you're just like, no. uh, Next, I don't know if this is disturbing. This is kind of funny. Well, I guess however you look at it. Big Boss Man crashes Big Show's funeral. Or the funeral of his dad, quote unquote.
It's one of the best moments ever, man. Like I remember the SmackDown 10-year anniversary DVD set. Which I gotta see how much it is because I gotta get that because that's one that's not on the network.
I have that. I have that, by the way.
You have it? Fuck, man. So on the countdown, they actually like they had it on there, and like CM Punk was, I think it was Punk. He was all like, "Oh, Boss Man comes in a Blues Brothers cruiser." It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
For a,
That's funny. I don't give a. That's not disturbing. It's comedy, unintentionally, but it's comedy.
I guess for elaboration. So basically, the storyline with Big Boss Man and Big Show was I'm not sure how the feud started, but like Big Boss Man was at Big Show's mom's house, and he has a recorder on, and he has her admit that Big Show, I guess, was an accident or a bastard. That's the appropriate way to put it. It's like, so you won't tell the whole wide world that your son was a bastard, and his Big Show, I guess in real life, or I don't know if it was happening at that time. I don't know. Maybe it happened before that. Big Show in storyline, his dad had died, and they were at a funeral. And like Justin mentioned, Boss Man shows up in like a Blues Brothers, uh, you know, car, and has like an intercom where he ends up hooking this like hook on the end of his car to Big Show's dad's, uh, fuck, what is it? Casket. And then he ends up taking away the casket while Big Show jumps on the casket and is just rolling away while Boss Man drives
That
away.
was hilarious. Even me watching that at like 11 years old I was cracking up, man. Like, Big Show was the baby face and Boss Man was the heel. Yeah, it didn't matter to me.
Oh god, that was good. Speaking of Boss Man, he has another moment on here. Makes Al Snow eat his dog. Do you remember that at all? His dog Pepper.
Yeah, Pepper.
They had the Kennel from Hell,
That's what I'm saying. That's like led to the Kennel from Hell match. Yeah.
which was an awful match. But yeah, but the story is Boss Man made, or I guess he didn't make, but like he made Al Snow something to eat, and come to find out he had killed Boss Man's dog, or not Boss Man, Al Snow's dog Pepper, and grinded it up and made him eat it, not knowing it was Pepper. So yeah, pretty evil stuff back in the Attitude Era. How many more fucking things on this list are there? Oh no, just two more. Just two more. Undertaker hangs Big Boss Man during their Hell in a Cell match at WrestleMania. So, any thoughts on that?
Not really. No.
It was WrestleMania 15. It was Undertaker versus Big Boss Man.
I
And
was scarred a little bit when I was a kid. I was like, God damn, shit, motherfucker, you know. But yeah,
Hell in a Cell. This is when Taker was doing the Ministry of Darkness, and this is
one of the
when
worst Hell in the Cells of all time, too. By the way.
yeah, and then Boss Man was in the Corporation, and yeah. Lastly, Boogeyman eats worms, or no. Boogeyman eats a growth off of Jillian Hall's face. So, for anyone that doesn't remember, Jillian Hall was a women's wrestler, and her gimmick before her bad singing gimmick was that she had a growth on her face, and she ended up becoming JBL's valet. And I don't know if this was on. I think this was on a SmackDown where Boogeyman ate the growth off of her face. So that was Boogeyman, people. So that's everything I have. That's my moments, or I guess whoever wrote that as the most disturbing moments in wrestling. Which a lot of those aren't really disturbing. A lot of those are just unfortunate incidents. But yeah, some of those could be disturbing. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Post your comments in the YouTube comments on this video if you have any thoughts on that. But I got nothing. That is all we have, people. Yeah, Justin, go ahead and plug yourself, plug your shop, and everything else.
Yeah, you guys know Spinebuster Tees, spinebustertees.com. Go and pick yourselves up any T-shirt that you see yourself fit and that you'll like, including this one I'm wearing tonight. I'm actually wearing one tonight. The hardcore wrestling T-shirt where you have likes of all hardcore legends on the T-shirt, from Anita to the Dudley Boys to Abdul the Butcher, Foley, Funk, Moxley. They're all on this T-shirt. So very good stuff here. The Just Enjoy Wrestling T-shirt, the I Am Pro Wrestling T-shirt, the Weapons Pro Wrestling T-shirt, the Match Types Pro Wrestling T-shirt. A lot of designs on SpinebusterTees.com. Go check that out. Visit me at Spinebuster Tees at the Wonderland of the Americas. Come on in. Along with these T-shirts, you're able to get action figures, Funko Pops, wrestling socks, lucha mask, trading cards, any type of memorabilia. Is very, 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 very cool shop to come to. So come on now, come and visit. And you can also follow me on Instagram, Spinebuster Tees on Instagram, where I post everything about my business, which is from the shop, and the T-shirts that I'd be receiving as well. So on Spinebuster Tees from spinebustertees.com. So come check me out. Spinebuster Tees on Instagram, spinebustertees.com, and Spinebuster Tees at the Wonderland of the Americas.
And do you want to plug the I guess the show you're going to be on tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'll be on Talk Can Listening. Tomorrow it's not live, it's not a live stream or nothing like that, but it is a podcast. I'll just be going there, just shooting the shit with one of my friends from middle school and high school.
Nice.
Yeah, just gonna be going there, shooting the shit, talking about my business, talking about wrestling, and yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just a casual podcast. There's nothing like huge or anything like that. So,
Nice. Be on the lookout for that, people. And you know where to find me. Everywhere that podcasts are distributed. Spreaker, iTunes, Spotify. There's also a YouTube page. Kind of get those numbers up.
should make a goal.
Yeah, make a goal. I would love to get 1,000 followers, or I mean subscribers on YouTube. That's kind of the goal at the moment. Just to kind of get that YouTube money. We want the YouTube money, people. But yeah, get those likes up, get those subscriptions up, and not to brag, but we're number 210 in iTunes and iTunes wrestling podcasts in Great Britain, people. So not to brag, people, not to brag, but I'm gonna brag. So suck it, USA. No, but
Are we hiring USA? Oh no, well, no, we have to be hiring Great Britain. Never mind. Sorry, never mind. Go ahead.
yeah, there was a point where we were like number 200 something in United States only. Yeah, but currently we're number 210 in Great Britain. So yeah, nice.
Yeah, we're 209 away to be number one.
Yes, sir. Get those numbers up, people. What else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, Twitter X, DY Experience, Instagram, same thing. I also have a Facebook page, which I have been posting a little bit more on. The YouTube page, I will definitely post some more shorts. Tonight's show is kind of worthy of posting some more clips, so I'll probably find some gold for tonight's show, especially with the disturbing wrestling talk, which could be fun. Um, let's see, and then shout out to all of our friends who do support us and love us and give us the likes and the shares and whatnot. And shout out to them, of course, because they do have they all have podcasts. So support our friends, support anyone that has a podcast. And yeah, next week, same time, same channel. I know next Sunday is All In or All Out. Which one? Is it All In or All Out?
All in.
All In. So we will be doing a pay-per-view post show for that. But yeah, I mean, hopefully next week the OBS thing shouldn't give us any problems. But we will be back next week, and then the week after that, of course, is we'll be doing a twofer. We'll be doing the Germany pay-per-view, and the very next day we'll be doing the NXT pay-per-view, which Jeff Lippman should be on for that one. He mentioned that he is available for the NXT shows, so we will see, and I'll try to get more people on. But anyways, guys, that's all I have for now. See y'all next week. Same time, same channel. And yeah, just be safe, people. Peace.
Peace out.